We have bought all of these Cangini Flail Mowers that you might have seen on our channel or our website before, but we have bought all the inventory that's currently in the US. Yes, we're starting 2026 strong, as you might have seen in the title. We have bought all of these Cangini Flail Mowers that you might have seen on our channel or our website before, but we have bought all the inventory that's currently in the US except for 4 units. But we've bought all the inventory that was available in the US. I'll give you a bit more details as to why and what our thoughts is and what our plan is, but for the time being we've got 20 plus units in stock of the Cangini Flails, different models between TC1, TC2, the most common models that we've been selling for excavators, and also some skid steer mounted TC1s, and I'll show you those actually and the reason behind us not taking every single one. But let me pull one of these down and open up the box. This is the first time I've actually seen them come like this boxed up, which is really nice because they can be stacked. So it ended up being a full truckload, but the way that you can stack them like that is actually really nice, which we've never had from the factory. Let me open one up and show you, as you might not have seen before. But this one's actually for an order, but we'll get it opened and show you. So this is the smallest of the bunch. This is a TC1 in the 1 metre wide option, or 40 inches. We've pulled this top plate off, so this is how we order the flails, with this top plate that mounts through any of these bolt holes so you can change the position. We order them with this and then we build on whatever we need on top. So yep, this is the smallest of the range, the TC1. It's actually not, it's the widest, but of the smallest model, the TC1. This one I believe is for going on Kubota U30, going on this size, so we've got the mount to build for that this week. As you can see, they're a little bit different than normal, so I'll give you a bit of background as to why these are the way that they are. Cangini is part of the Kinshofer group, owns a bunch of companies between Europe, the US, Australia, all over the world. Kinshofer being based in Germany. Soulsby's equipment is one of the companies in the group that they own that's based in the US, in Georgia. Soulsby's build buckets, thumbs, couplers, all those sort of attachments, and Cangini are obviously based in Italy and build flails, mulchers, sweepers, a broad range actually of attachments. So up until last year, between here in the US and in the UK, we would buy directly from the Cangini factory in Italy, and what we would do is ship all the units to Scotland first, pull out what we needed for the UK inventory, and then ship the rest in a container along with some other stuff that we would get from Europe, so that we could fill a container, because at that point we couldn't have afforded to fill a full container just of flails. So we'd throw in some other products till the container was full, so that we could maximise the shipping and send it over to us directly here in Denver. Up until last year, then Soulsby's began a partnership with Cangini, so that they would bring over and be the US distributor, seen as they're in the same group, and we would buy locally from them. Being based in Georgia, we could then ship them 1 unit at a time, or as many as we needed from Georgia to Colorado, and it would let us, you know, not have to take as big a risk and order as much inventory at a time. but it would cost us a bit more, and actually the freight would end up costing us a bit more too when we would order 1 or 2 units at a time, rather than the container where we could get, you know, 15, 16 units that maybe cost a few $100s each. In the end, the freight from Georgia would actually work out more. But anyway, so coming up to the end of last year, 2025, Soulsby's had all this inventory left from the year prior, and we basically did a deal to buy all those units, like I say, excluding 4 of them. And the 4 of them that we didn't take were some of the 1Fs that I'll show you here in a minute. But anyway, that's a bit of the background as to what happened. So going forward, I'm honestly not really sure what we're doing, but for the time being, we've got plenty units in stock, and we've also took all the spare parts that they had. So they ordered a lot of spare parts to back up all these units, plus the ones that they've already sold. And we took all of those as well. We've got a lot to try and get through this year. It's a bit of a big commitment. This is a lot more inventory than we need, but we got it at a good price, so hopefully we can be even more competitive with what's out there in the market, especially now with the tariffs coming in. These units will never be basically at this price again, no matter where we buy from, just with the tariffs. I believe these will have came in pre-tariffs, so this is about as good a deal as we could get, and hopefully we can give customers as good a deal as possible for a really well built, solid flail coming from Italy. You know, we've had very little problems with them so far. They are all the same models that we've been stocking before, the ones, which is this, the 2s, which is a slightly bigger belt driven size. And the 2 model, actually we've got 2 different widths, the 40 and the 48 inch wide. So those are good for machines in the 5-6 ton range, and then the smaller versions are good for, you know, 2.5 ton machines. And then, so let me pull you out one of the TC1Fs. We ended up taking 2 of them, but there's 4 of them that we didn't take, and I'll show you why. But that's the one, and that's a bit of background as to what the plan is going forward. So I'll put this one back and pull out one of the 1Fs. So this is the TC1F model, and what the F basically stands for is frontal. So any frontal attachments, as they refer to them at Cangini, are obviously for skid steers or wheel loaders. So this is the TC1. It's the same setup as the one that I just showed you, but it's slightly wider. Obviously going on a skid steer you would want extra width, but it's direct drive, and it's equipped with these floating linkage skid steer mounts. One of the reasons that we didn't take all of these units that were available was because of this skid steer mount. The floating linkage is nice because once you set it down, it'll basically follow the level of the ground. But these models are just too small for a full-size skid steer, so we'll be swapping these over to a mini skid steer mount or a Bobcat MT mount, maybe one each, because these are the perfect size for your little Vermeer and Bobcat MTs, because they should cover the width of most tracks, and they're not too heavy, and they're just plug and play. But basically I don't really know why these were ordered with the full size mounts, because even the smallest of skid steers is going to be wider than the flail, which kind of defeats the point, to be honest. You want usually to try and get as close to, or at least wider than, your wheels or your tracks, so that you're not having to take several runs up and down when you're clearing land. So we're going to pull these probably off and swap them over and build our own mount, since we don't have any. But I just thought I would show you the TC1F model and the difference. Like I say, it's this exact same setup, just a wider size. And you do get these in a 2, 3, 4 size. So we are going to be stocking some 3s and hopefully some 4s, and those are really, really impressive. They go 78, 84 inches wide. They have side shift, floating system, tilt system, They're just really impressive, and those are much more aligned with full-size track loaders rather than this size. So we've got some of those actually en route as well. And then I forgot to mention, all the flails that we have here come with the hammer teeth. So obviously there's two options, the hammers and the blades. We've just found the hammers to be much more well-rounded, and obviously much better when you're dealing with bigger material, which most people are usually pushing the boundaries of what these can do, so the hammers are the best option for that. So yeah, that's a little walk round all of the units that we've got. So as I mentioned, we've got way more stock than we would ordinarily need for the year ahead, but hopefully with the deals that we got on these, we can pass some of that along, and like I say, supply people a good product at a really competitive price with some of the lesser quality, cheaper options that are out there. So yeah, that's it. If you have any questions on any of these or any of our attachments, obviously don't hesitate to get in touch. But for the time being, we are well stocked up on the flail mowers from Cangini. So hopefully we can get a few of these shifted in the next couple of weeks.